This is the Washington Times front page for Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. I'm George Gerbo. The leak of a draft opinion that would overrule the Supreme Court's landmark Roe v. Wade decision that legalized abortion leads our coverage today. The Supreme Court confirmed the draft ruling is authentic, but noted it hasn't been released in its final form and therefore isn't yet the law of the land. The leaked draft was initially reported by Politico and authored by Associate Justice Samuel Alito. Kerry Pickett and Dave Boyer report congressional Democrats now believe they have new leverage to energize their voters in November's midterm election and potentially codify abortion rights through congressional action. Democrats would need to abolish the 60-vote filibuster rule to pass such legislation this year. Meanwhile, Alex Schroyer, Valerie Richardson, and Jeff Murdoch report Chief Justice John Roberts has ordered an investigation into the leak, calling it egregious. Roberts said in a statement he had directed the court's marshal to investigate the source of the leak and that to the extent this betrayal of the confidences of the court was intended to undermine the integrity of our operations, it will not succeed. An official ruling in the case, Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization, is expected by the end of June. Polls showed that most Americans believe abortion should be legal, but pro-life advocates argue that opinion has trended in their direction. In 1995, 56% of Americans identified themselves as pro-choice versus 33% who consider themselves pro-life. In the past few years, however, the two sides have been virtually tied, according to polling by Gallup. A reminder that you can find all these stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page. If you don't have access to the Times yet, you can visit WashingtonTimes.com/George for a special subscription offer. Senate Republicans have announced legislation to strip funding from the Department of Homeland Security's new Disinformation Governance Board. Stephen Dinan reports the bill was introduced by Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas portrayed the board as an election information watchdog in a congressional hearing last week. He said the board will communicate directly with communities, particularly minorities, that his department thinks are being misled. Officials said the board's first targets are disinformation surrounding Russia's invasion of Ukraine and information that smuggling cartels use to recruit migrants making the journey to the United States. A State Department report finds Chinese diplomats and state-controlled media actively promote the Russian government's line and disinformation on the Ukraine war. Bill Gertz reports the department found the ruling Communist Party and government routinely amplify Kremlin propaganda, conspiracy theories, and disinformation. That's contrary to China's claim of being a neutral party toward the conflict. It's the first time the State Department, through its counter-disinformation unit known as the Global Engagement Center, has produced a detailed assessment of anti-U.S. disinformation and propaganda by China. And finally, Georgia Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker has once again refused to debate his primary rivals. Seth McLaughlin reports the group of 5 others vying for the nomination include State Agriculture Commissioner Gary Black, Navy veteran Latham Sadler, and construction firm owner Kelvin King. It's the second time Walker has abstained from debating. The strategy, which some predict will carry into the general election, hasn't hurt the former University of Georgia running back. A recent Atlanta Journal-Constitution survey found Walker with a massive 59-point lead over Black, his closest rival. Find all of today's front page stories at WashingtonTimes.com/front page or the Washington Times app, and find us on any major podcast platform. Just search Washington Times on your favorite podcast app. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at WashTimes for breaking news, sports, commentary, and more. For the Washington Times, I'm George Gerbo.